Hi, welcome to the podcast of YDG. This is YDG Cohort 5 members talking about social, economic, and political issues. We're going to delve into a lot of episodes of it. We're going to be talking about politics. If you like politics, you can come here, subscribe to our channel. If you want social issues, you can come here, subscribe to our channel. In fact, it's a funky group, so if you want to join us, please subscribe. I'm waiting for you. Click on that. Yes, thank you very much. So we're going to talk about a very important topic. It's very important because we are in 2024. 2024 is an election year. Okay, so since an election year, it's actually very good to talk about politics. Even doctors, I am a doctor, but on our platform, we're not talking about anything medicine. We are talking about NDC, MPP every day, 24/7, even at 1 a.m. People are talking about politics because we are in the season. Our topic is going to be the youth expectations from political leaders. Amongst me are a lady and two gentlemen, and I'm going to give them the opportunity for them to introduce themselves. Ladies first, so I want Ayim to introduce herself and what she does.
Okay, thank you. My name is Yaa Korankyewa Ayim, and it's an honor to be here. I'm also a YDG Cohort 5 delegate. I'm a planning and monitoring officer with the International Center of Water and Sanitation, which is IRC WASH. It's a globally based think tank focusing on enabling governments, especially in the global south, really on increasing or accelerating, advancing basically goals towards SDG 6, which is clean water and sanitation for all. Thank you. Safe water. Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Erasmus Elorm Agbo. I'm also the YDG Cohort 5 Delegates. I'm currently a student at the Ghana School of Law, pursuing my professional law course, and I hope to be called to the Ghana Bar next year, 2025 in October.
I'm Meldon Agyarkwa. I'm also a very privileged delegate of YDG Cohort 5. My background is in biochemistry and environmental science, and I currently work with the Environmental Protection Agency in the role of an assistant program officer, where I'm mainly responsible for conducting research on environmental issues to inform the formulations of policies. Yeah.
You're welcome, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's just delve straight into the discussion. What is the role of a youth in elections? I gave you a statistic. I was talking about 55% of us going to vote are all youth. But what do you think our role is in the elections in Ghana? I want to start with you, lawyer.
Well, considering the significance of the youth demography in Ghana, and I think across the global population as well, there's an increasing youth population across all board. I think that having such a demography represents something significant in the country in the sense that we first of all are the biggest stakeholders in terms of governmental policies. Due to the sheer number of youth we have in the country, it means that at the end of the day, whatever policies or policies or actions that will be implemented should be policies that will benefit the youth. Second, I also think that for the next 20, 30 years or for the next several decades, the youth will be at the forefront of political, social, and economic issues. And so it is important that they join in the conversation as early as possible. Now, for the role of youth in elections, we have several roles to play as stakeholders in the electoral process. And so aside voting in election as well, I think that the role transcends just voting, but we have to be actively involved in what policies or what programs that should be implemented. So, for instance, we have town hall meetings and community forum and community engagements on governmental policies or the role of the youth in the electoral process in general. So last week on 8th August, during the International Youth Day celebration, we had a representative from the National Commission on Civic Education joining us. And as part of the plans of the NCC, they intend to roll out a series of community engagements and town hall meetings. I think that this is a step in the right direction, and this can be a platform for youth to also engage in political conversation and political discourse. Beyond that point as well, I also think that the youth should also leverage on social media as a tool to engage or to further the conversation and the advocacy on political and political issues in the country. And so now I think that we've strayed away from traditional media and television, newspapers as tools for information and communication. Now a lot of the discourse happens on social media rather than traditional media. So TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or X as they call it now, and YouTube and other social media platforms. By leveraging on these platforms, we can further engage the youth, but we can further engage in the political discourse. That is why podcasts like this, the YDG podcast, can also serve as a tool for people to also engage or join the conversation on participation of youth in the electoral process.
Yeah. So Meldon, would you want to agree with him on our role? Like he mentioned that, let me just itemize it. Number one, as a voter, you can vote, and also you can join the town hall meetings organized by NCC or any other governmental body. Aside that, and if you want to cooperate it, why not? Aside that, do you have other roles the youth can play during the elections?
Yes, I agree with my fellow delegates. Personally, I wasn't aware about the plan of the NCCE to organize town hall meetings, so I feel it's a step in the right direction, and I want to advocate the youth to actively participate in that. Also, I agree with the notion that the youth constitutes the largest in terms of demography. They constitute a major population of this country, and so it's essential that we contribute to these elections because this is going to determine the political, economic, and social landscape of our country for the next 4 years.
Great. Kwachima, so looking at the way social media is structured, he was talking about social media. Most of us are on social media, or the youth are the people that handle social media a lot. What do you think our role can be defined, or what do you think we can use social media as a tool to be able to come up with our rules and participation during the elections?
Thank you for the question, but before I come to it, I will come to it. I just wanted to add that, first of all, to those listening, if you're looking out for, this NCC town hall thing and you're interested, just go on your Facebook or your Twitter or X and look for NCC Ghana and actually follow them so that you can get updates, or go to their website. You can get updates on where the town hall in your constituency or your districts or your MMA is being held, so that you can actually go there and participate. Just listen to the conversations that are going on. Try and encourage your friends, your siblings to go along with you, because that's your own way in your corner of influencing and shaping the ideas. This is very, very important, because the interesting thing about the Ghanaian population is that we have a large number of people who are not, educated or enlightened on these matters, and we have statistics to back these up. A larger population is informalized, I think about 70%. That means that people are getting some of this information from radio stations and other places like TVs that are broadcasting local languages, and some of these places don't focus on some of the awareness or the importance of some of these initiatives like the NCC town halls for the youth in particular. So it's important that once you've heard about this information, you also try your best to share it with your siblings and with your friends, people you can influence in your space. Moving on to your question. Your question about youth and then digital and social media platforms, if I'm correct. First of all, as you were both speaking, something came to my mind about when we all realized, or when we were our times in the universities. How were you getting your information?
Social media.
Some of us were getting on WhatsApp group, but think larger in terms of association bodies. So some of us, depending on the department or the school you were in, you were getting information sometimes through your department, your class reps, first of all, your department associations, and then the largest body was usually the SRC or the NUCs. Let's take a look at NUCs and then SRC. I recall I was a student leader both for undergrad and then like graduate level, and sometimes I remember that I recall that I was like made chairperson of a electoral process for the graduate level for KNUST, and then we were having interview for the various aspirants, and the number of people that showed up was we were under 50 people that showed up for the entire graduate body who were actively, interested in participating or listening to the manifestos of the people that were coming to be voted for. What am I driving at? The point I'm driving at is that, yes, we have these platforms and these digital social media conversations going on, and you can see there's a gap. I'm not too aware of how NUCS and SRC are making much of the information available digitally right now to the student populace. But I feel like, first of all, they are a very good body because they have a large number of following. I follow Voice of KNUST on Twitter, and they have a good number of people following them, and they are also on LinkedIn as well and other places. So some of these student bodies can start to encourage the youth in the university and the tertiary levels to, pay attention to what SDC is doing. SDC should also actually be even looking forward to collaborating with these platforms like NUCS and, all of these. Yes, exactly. And some of these leaders, young leaders who are there, some of them are student activist campaigns, some of them are environmental campaign, activists with a large number of following. And so I think it's a very good way. First of all, we also have significant youth social media influencers and activists from Snapchat to X or Twitter. And so these people have like huge followings and they are known for several things, but they could also advocate or use their platforms for, educating the youth on the importance and the participation and the significance of this particular election. So I think that's one way we can use that.
Still on the social media bit, when you do a sentimental analysis of what is going on social media right now, you realize what the youth is expecting. So one of it is, or the recent one was when a video from one particular political party was talking about the fact that someone was saying that he wanted to police the ballot box because they are going to remove the taxes on betting. So one of the expectations of the youth, and it actually resonated with a lot of people because when you go to Twitter, it was trending number one. Okay, so you realize that that's one of the expectations of the youth. So what I'm trying to drive home at is we can use social media to be able to get the expectations of the youth. But let us delve into it. What are your personal expectations from political leaders during this particular election, and then also the next 4 years? What are you expecting? It's going to go round, but I want your personal one, and then what you think can be done for the entire youth populace. I want to start with you, Elorm.
I think that, to me, my central expectation is that the leaders should be very honest with us. And I know that because it's electionary season, there's a tendency for them to embellish promises and to promise or to make promises that they may not intend to deliver. I think that we are at a stage where we know, or a lot of people feel, and I think it's been very evident that the economy is not as robust as it used to be, and things are not generally trending in the right direction in a lot of aspects of the economy. And so my expectations are that whatever policies that they are coming up with should be policies that, one, are very specific policies. So we should avoid speaking in very vague terms that would improve youth participation in this, would establish hospitals. When you claim you want to enact a policy, you should be able to detail out what exactly you'll be doing so that we have an idea of how feasible your policy will be, how realistic your policy will be, and how attainable it will be. So we should move towards the age where we are very, very honest with ourselves, and politicians are also very honest with us, that these policies are policies that are very achievable and very realistic. Beyond enacting such policies as well, I also think that one of the things we can do is to avoid, or one of the things I'm expecting is that there should be very little misinformation, or in fact, total eradication of misinformation during the election process, because there's this tendency to skew information, to be very, there's that tendency that politicians would skew information during election period to present to us things that we are not expecting. So I think that at this stage we should be very honest where we demand or we expect that leaders should make up to make sure that they enact policies that not only benefit us as youth but are also very achievable, because there are certain policies that sound very outlandish when you hear them because they've not been able to show us how these policies will be implemented. So moving forward, policies that will be enacted or promises that will be made around this period should be policies that resonate so much with the youth, because there are things that are very pertinent. We want certain things to be achieved, but if we ignore the basics or the fundamentals, we are going to fail as a country. So things like youth employment, my expectation is that whichever government assumes the reins of office after December should be able to address things like youth unemployment, brain drain, and other things that I think that are very pertinent to the national economy.
Just to summarize whatever you said, number one, they should be realistic, they should be honest with us, isn't it? Kranchima, you wanted to also say something.
Yeah, I wanted to say that it's Crunchywa, or you can listen Anaya, just so that it's easier on you. Don't worry. I just wanted him to be more specific. So like, I wanted you to pick like one example, and then give like your personal dream. Like it could be the wildest dream. I'm still part of this organization called Ghana Think Foundation, and one of the years in time past was something that we did, and we still do. It's called the Ghanaian Dream, and like we have discussions, like connect meetups, and then we have like tell us like your ideal Ghanaian dream. You know, like how the Americans have the American dream, and then you can meet an American on the road and you ask them like, what is your American dream? Like personalize it for you. When do you think like in your mind's eye, what do you see? That it doesn't have to be by this government or maybe another government or whatever, but like when do you think you can see something in your mind's eye that you say that Ghana has finally arrived? Like that's your Ghanaian dream for Ghana.
I think that in my personal opinion, I think we need to get to the stage where Ghanaians can actually complete and graduate from schools in Ghana and decide to live in Ghana and work in Ghana. In fact, I think that
exactly.
we should even move to the point where every Ghanaian will aspire to remain in the country. There is this running joke on social media that the Ghanaian dream is to leave Ghana. And
yeah.
Yes, the Ghanaian dream is to leave Ghana.
Yeah. And get a passport.
And return on December for 30 December. And I mean, leave after 2 weeks and go back to wherever they are. All these resources, and both human resources and both like capital resources are leaving the country. Some of our smartest brains are leaving. All these, I want us to get to the stage where the best minds or the best Ghanaian minds will remain in Ghana, would love to work in Ghana because economic conditions are good enough for them, social conditions are good enough for them as well. And so that is my ideal dream for Ghana.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. What do you also think your Ghanaian dream is? Because for me, this is my dream. My dream is that one day we would just wake up and we'll never see schools under trees.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's all. I don't want to hear anything. But one day I'll just wake up and realize that, okay, the people who are going to transition to be the next youth and the next group of people to vote in Ghana are not sitting under trees to go to school. Meldon, what do you think yours?
So firstly, I want to tackle my personal expectations in terms of policies and then the generalized ones before I come to my dream. So in terms of policies, this time we're expecting policies that are not vague. We want policies that are clear, very comprehensive policies, detailing pragmatic measures in terms of implementation and funding. Because we need to be honest, the country is struggling economically. So we want policies that are clear on how the level of implementation is going to be done. For example, you say you're going to create jobs. How are you going to create jobs? You need to explain. You want to create green jobs. How are you going to do it? Is there going to be a strategy? Is there going to be collaboration with the public and private sector? I mean, this time they should be very honest with us. Also, I'm looking forward to a policy on climate change. For instance, when you go to the US, they have what they call the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, and it's the biggest investment by the US to tackle climate change. Ghana needs something like that because climate change is an emerging issue and it's real, it's prevalent, and it transcends national and international boundaries. So I'm expecting something like that. And also in terms of my dream, I look forward to a country where we are confident in our abilities, because and prospects for prosperity. Because the issue of brain drain is becoming very worrying. We are losing our pertinent and most competent human resources, and that's not the best for this country.
Great. So just to delve into whatever you said again. So all that you want to see is that one day we just wake up and then we are tackling issues based on metrics. Okay, you said you want to do this particular thing for Ghana. This is how to go about it. Does it mean that you also lean towards the group of people who say that we need a national development plan that is binding on political parties who assume power?
Yes, I agree. To the best of my knowledge, I think we already have a national development
but it's not
plan.
binding. So looking at whatever you say or listening to you, it looks like you want something that is binding on them, so that, okay, you come and you say you want to do this particular thing and this is how to achieve it.
Yes, exactly. And I think this should also be guided by the SDGs.
Okay, exactly.
Yes, once we can link our national development plan to the SDGs, I think we have a chance at success.
Okay. Ayim, your dream.
Yes, my Ghanaian dream. I think I was very happy when last week we had the International Youth Day event, and then we actually had, Bella, one of the panel members, Bella Mundi, talking about how her personal, that was her Ghanaian dream, talking about how she wants to change transport. She was talking about, when she becomes president. And I think, first of all, you don't need to be president, but like being a person of influence, her dream was that, changing the transportation issue. And I've also said that before in past tweets on X, that I think it should be possible. I was very specific. I was like, it should be possible for me to live in Sunyani and come to work every day in Accra. There are cities around the world where this is happening. And it should be like maybe a 45-minute maximum ride from Sunyani to Accra. And I should be able to go back every day. It should be affordable enough for me to be going back and forth, so that we don't have a lot of the issues that we have right now as a country. There's a report that's analyzed India as a country and attributed a lot of the progress and developments in India to the fact that they developed their railway system. They actually built on the railway system that had been developed by their predecessors, the colonial masters. And that enabled them also to, accelerate development very quickly in the country. So that is my Ghanaian dream, or that has been my Ghanaian dream for like the longest time now. That, transportation is not a thing that you have to sit in a bus. You want to go to the north, it will take you half a day. That's people's lives that are being wasted away on a journey. And most people cannot afford flights, let's be honest, because they are expensive and all of that. And we are also looking at carbon emissions. But trains could make the movement of not just people, but goods as well. We have, trailers using our roads to Burkina, and they are damaging the roads. And all of this could have been used on railway lines. So these are some of the things that I think we need to really pay attention to as a country. That's my Ghanaian dream, to wake up one day that I can actually, like, living in Sunyani is a viable option for me, because then I can live there and then travel down to Accra whenever I want. So that's my Ghanaian dream.
Your Ghanaian dream actually resonates with a specialist who has been working in Ghana for close to 17 years now. He ever said something. He says that you would only leave Accra to work in a place like, let's say, Sunyani, if there's a train system that can leave Sunyani and come to Accra in 30 minutes.
Yeah, he's
that's a specialist, so that he can move his colleagues all the way to that particular place for them to just go and work, and then when they are done, they can come back into the country. So I think it's a good one. It's a good one.
And I think the distance between Sunyani and Accra is like Leeds and London. I was living in Leeds at a point in time, in London. Like I would sometimes go to London, and it would take sometimes, even with changeovers, 2 hours maximum. So it's possible. We just need to be able to, maybe as youth, because this is our time, to put pressure on the leaders, because we, as he said, are the largest stakeholders. We can dictate, actually, we have like the power right now to form and shape what our leaders should be focusing on, because we are the ones that can say, I want this, I don't want this. So yeah, I think it's very important. Yeah.
So at this juncture, I just want to ask a simple question. It's a yes or no. Meldon, would you vote?
Yes.
What about you?
Yes. I'll definitely.
Okay. Mine will be yes. What about you?
Definitely voting, because this is very important. Before this time, I voted the last time in 2016. Yeah. No, in 2020, I wasn't here. I wasn't in Ghana, so I couldn't vote. It really pained me. I really think we need to look at how the government in the EC needs to implement that diaspora thing. Yeah, because a lot of people like me, when we are outside the country, it's very difficult. But we have Niger, people from Niger, they are living in Ghana, but they can vote when it's time for them to vote. And we pride ourselves as the gateway of Africa. We can't
It's a
vote
shame,
when we
isn't
are.
it?
Oh,
I
it's
think
very
they do something
heartbreaking.
about it.
They really should. The EC should do something. They should tell us maybe their challenges, so that as youth we can help them pressure the
Amplify it.
politicians.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I want to know, which promise have you heard, whether funny or not funny? That's probably, even if it doesn't resonate with you, you've actually heard, and it's actually very funny to you, Meldon.
Okay, for me, I would say the 24-hour economy proposal by the NDC's flag bearer.
Is that funny? I mean, it's so funny to you.
I don't find it funny.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a game changer, actually.
Okay.
But in terms of its implementation, that is where they may have some challenges. So I'm looking forward to a comprehensive detail on how they are going to implement that policy.
Okay, Elorm, what about you?
Yeah, I was also waiting for the 24-hour economy for the same reasons, because I believe that my personal opinion is that it would take a lot of resources and a lot of stakeholder engagement to actually implement this successfully. But beyond that as well, today is the formal implementation of the policy for the New Patriotic Party. Yeah, today they are official
Launch.
launch of their manifesto. So we are here to see like what they have for us. But from the NDC as well, even though they've not officially unveiled their national manifesto yet, I think we've had snippets of that from their youth manifesto. And one of the things that I found of very great interest is the free tuition for level 100 students. And I do personally, I think that it's an interesting one. I have not formed a concrete opinion on it yet, because I don't know how exactly to be implemented and where exactly we get resources to implement such policy from. But I think that's one of the policies that has caught my attention in recent times.
For me, I think there was this, to be honest with you, I try not to, it's a weird opinion, but I try not to be so soaked by the snippets of the politicians, especially through the media outlets, because I realized that it forms an initial impression and bias. I usually try to wait for the document to come out and then I look at the document. But I once saw like a snippet about something about giving youth phones and then like you know,
1 city, 2 city.
yes. And then I was like, I'm a young person. Even though my phone has been like stolen and then I got like, that's not my priority. I have friends or age mates that are unemployed right now that call you and ask you for money. I'm sure all of us have friends that we know, like you can, like top of the head, you can even think of more than 5 people. And also at the same time, you know people you grew up with, even in your neighborhood, that didn't even make it past JSS or SS. Not talk of university. You know all of these people. You see them. Some of them are doing trade. Some of them are just home. You know, a whole lot. So I don't think when I heard of that one, I was like, kind of dropped the ball on this one, because that's, I don't know who is advising that particular individual or what's going on there, but no.
For me, that was what I was going to say, 1 city, 2 city. But I don't think he wanted to just say 1 city, 2 city. I think he actually meant, well, I mean, if we are going into digitalization, I think that's a very good policy. But looking at the way Ghana is structured now in the economy, I don't think a lot of us.
It's a priority. Yes, it's not a priority.
Yes, a lot of people
to have a credit system.
Yes,
I mean, I read it further past the snippet, and he was talking about having a credit system. And I was like, people need food. You know, people need certain things. I'm not saying credit system is not important, but implementing, there's a report, I think by Harvard or LSE, I cannot remember, but it talked about how sometimes implementing some policies over others has shown evidence of widening poverty gaps. I would try and look for the reference, but basically when you bring certain policies or certain implementations before the others, it's basically widening like poverty gaps, because you're helping those that are already ahead to be further ahead of those that are behind. What you really want to do is to help those that are behind catch up. At the same time, yes, moving those on ahead, because we need that kind of resources, but you don't want it such that you're helping those ahead to be so much ahead that, the focus is forgotten. And I feel like that policy would really do that, because the kind of people that they would even help signing up would be people who are already able to afford certain things for themselves, not the people they would initially want to or really want to target. So that's it for me, yeah.
Meldon, I think we have to go, but I just want to hear from you. What are your last words?
So what I want to say is I want to encourage all registered voters to come out on 7 December 2024 and exercise their civic responsibility of choosing the next leader for the next 4 years for this country.
Ayim, what about you?
I just want to encourage the party fanatics out there to stop for a second and think critically that this information that I am going to propagate, is it useful? Is it true? Is it wise? Is it helpful? Not just to myself, but to others, including the Ghanaian populace. Why? Ghanaian youth know the truth. There's a report by Afrobarometer that says that 83% of us Ghanaian youth know when politicians are sharing false information. And guess what? Some of us actually go ahead to help propagate this false information. So I think we should turn that behavior around and just, it's okay. It's okay to lose that amount of money that was promised to you by someone whose kids are probably not even in the country. So it's fine. It's okay to start to want better things for yourself and start to work hard for them for yourself, other than relying on someone else. Because at the end of the day, it's you and yourself in this country. And so you need to start prioritizing the good of the country over your pocket interests.
So what the journalists normally say, in 30 seconds, what are your last words?
Well, political conversation should be redefined in this particularly trying times for us, because I believe that we need to steer the conversation away not only from the next 4 years, but also looking to the future to ensure that we have a more sustainable development. So we should move away from political dogmas and engage in constructive discourse, which furthers the aims and objectives of this country. And I believe that once we're able to critique and question some of these decisions and be involved in the political process, we are getting closer to achieving our aims and our objectives as a country.
I think if we got the opportunity, we would have spoken about probably both apathy and all those things. But I think this is where we draw the curtains. I mean, we've spoken for a long time. You may want to write more things under our posts. Maybe next time we are talking about the same topic, you want us to talk about other issues. Tell a friend to tell another friend to like and to share our post. This has been the YDG Cohort 5 podcast.